and Birdie, Pebble Beach with Luke sweated out, fresh off of Luke 80-1 outright. Luke, you're the man. I love you. I'm glad we're together on this pod. We pushed it back an hour since you're a West Coast guy. You got me a little extra time to pregame, so I could not be more excited for this TIB tonight. How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. I might have made a mistake letting you pregame for as long as I did, but yeah, I didn't get off work until your normal show time and had to come home, spend some time with the wife and kids, make sure, we're all good on the home front. And dude, I'm pumped to be here. I think this is my second appearance. And
second, you were on for the Fortnite.
Yeah.
Okay, so Luke,
I'm pumped to be back, man.
How is it to explain to your wife and kids, I'm not going to be around for dinner tonight. I'm doing a golf gambling podcast with my friend. Like, are they receptive to that? Is that okay? Is that good?
Yeah, I mean, the 1-year-old, he doesn't know what the hell's going on, so he's no problem. The wife, I got to let her know in advance, because if I just like spring it on her, she gets not very happy. And so, they're eating dinner without me. They don't care. Like, screw it. They know that I, bet a lot of golf, or she knows I bet a lot of golf. She was well aware that we were sweating out some List and Will Z tickets last week. She was texting everybody in the family that I cashed the List ticket, and that's always great, because then everyone's like, "Oh, next time you have a bet like that, you got to let me know." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, I will."
Yeah,
you got to also bet the 25 losers that come in between. So.
So how does it feel to come off an event where you bet both guys outright in a playoff? There's truly nothing better in this industry and in gambling and in golf gambling than betting guys outright and they end up in a playoff. It's sweat free. You don't have to hedge. I mean, just a absolutely perfect, superb card. And I'm not. The thing is, I'm not surprised at all. Like, I couldn't be less surprised. You had the best two plays on your card. I mean, you're Luke sweated out. You're a savant. So how was it to have the two best in the playoff?
It was crazy. I've never felt like that before, because, usually, like, I had Henley 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was. And it's like, that was the complete opposite experience. It was like going into that versus Hideki. It's like, this is going to go bad. And for this one, I knew I was a winner as soon as Rom missed his putt, and as soon as Jason Day didn't make eagle. It's like, this thing's over. I'm winning. I hope it's Luke List, just because it's a bigger number, and we want to see Luke win. It's been forever. Like, Willie Z's going to get his eventually. So yeah, man, I just sat back and relaxed, enjoyed it. I was laughing my ass off when they were both right next to each other in the bunker. I was like showing my wife. I was like, look how crazy this is. She didn't give a shit, but yeah, it was awesome, man. It was good stuff.
So you've been in this game for a while, and have you ever seen a situation where a guy that high up on the odds board modeled out perfectly for everyone and was so popular? He's never won before, and then he goes out and wins. Like, it was such like it. I feel like that just never happens, and it finally came into fruition with Luke List.
Yeah, I did everything I could to talk myself off of it, because it's like, I've bet List a few times. I'm not like the people who bet him, dozens and dozens of times. I've been on him a couple times. It always ends just absolutely horribly, 3 jacking from 10 feet. And it's just like, it's awful. But like, I looked at it, and everything I looked at, it's like, I run the model. Okay. I'm researching a bunch of different conditions, course length, and just whatever I research is like, Luke List is in the top 5, 10 of what I'm looking at. And at a certain point, I was like, I'm going to hate myself if I ignore what the stats are telling me. And, he tried to do it. He tried to putt himself out of it. He missed 2 4-footers on the back on Friday. So round 3, it was like he was making a charge, and then he just gives it all away. And I was like, yeah, here goes the Luke List experience. And somehow, he just got real hot on Saturday. He made that, shot out of the bunker. He hit that one on 16 to like 4 feet or whatever. Yeah, it was cool. It was, and he's just burned so many people so many times that like everyone was like, I've had enough. And I am going to not have enough. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and the thing that was so great about it is that when he missed that putt, when he made bogey on 17, I said, Luke List 80-1. That is a gut wrenching ticket to have, because he walks off 18 and you're like, he could have won that by 2 strokes. I mean, you could say that about any tournament, but he really tried to give it away to a certain extent. And I thought it wasn't going to hold up 15, and
15 didn't seem like it'd be enough.
It really did not. And he easily could have shot 17 under. Like, easily just from the back nine on Saturday. So it was just so great to watch. I bet him top 10. I hate myself for not betting him outright. The thing that's so great about an 80 to 1, you never lose sleep over if a guy's 20 or 30 to 1 to beat you, because that changes the structure of your card, and you have to front a decent amount of money to make the return that you want. But with anyone over 60 to 1, you throw $10 on that. I'm happy with that. I like to win 700. Like, it doesn't have to be a big investment to bet a guy over 60 to 1, Luke List, 80 to 1. Like, in future, just going from it, it's like, it's such a small investment for the time that it happens. Like, you want to be there. And that's why it's frustrating, because some weeks, we do this every week. We try to pick an outright. Like, we, don't do it all the time. But the thing is that some weeks the winner comes around and you go, in no universe would I ever have bet that. Like, I was never on him. Sure. Like, I wasn't on, like, I didn't like him. Like, that just didn't make sense to me. Luke List, it's like, yeah, it made all the sense in the world to me. I don't know why I wasn't just like, I'll just throw a little money on him. But again, we do this every week. It's tough. Like, it's very hard to hit an outright. So when you do, a lot of things have to go your way. And honestly, I want to give you props. I'm making it seem obvious because of the modeling. Not that many people bet him outright. Like, he made sense to so many people, but not that many people were like, okay, I'm putting him on my outright card. I'm going to trust a guy that's never won on tour. So I obviously want to give you props for that, because although he modeled out well, it takes a lot to put him on your card and wager actual money on it. So but again, I'm not surprised because you're the man.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was a fun one, man. That was one of my favorite hits in a long time, maybe ever. So. I'm
we're doing it again this week.
And he's
absolutely.
And we're doing it again this week.
And we're going to hit an outright this week, 100%. That's the guarantee, the TI Birdie guarantee. Every single week, you're going to hit an outright. Absolutely. So let's get into Pebble Beach. Let's talk about it. We got a 3-course rotation, a 54-hole cut. It's a pro-am. We got random guys in the field. We got long rounds. This is an event that, like the Amex 2 weeks ago, it's a little wonky and it's a little different, and it's not your standard, same course for 4 days. And, we've seen a lot of long shots excel here, and we've also seen a lot of favorites excel here. I know you went the long shot route, but what type of things are you looking for in golfers to succeed at this course and at these 3 courses at Pebble Beach this week?
Yeah. So, obviously we are familiar with how this course, usually goes, how the tournament usually goes down. These courses are short. That usually brings in a lot of guys into play. Like last week, long course like Torrey, big boy course. There's only a handful of guys who actually are capable of taming that big course. With a small course like this, where you can hit less than driver, and it's a lot of wedges, and you got to make a lot of putts and get up and down when you miss the small greens. It brings a lot more guys into play. So I took a really weird approach this week. I kind of did my normal thing where I run the model on the stats based on what I think. And then I just kind of went super galaxy brain as soon as the odds came out, because when we're betting outrights, the odds dictate everything. You can like a guy as much as you want. The number is going to dictate where your money goes at the end of the day. So, with the board is really weird this week, and I hate it. It's the worst betting board ever. Some of these numbers are a joke, and that's kind of why my card ended up the way it did. And I think I took a couple of different approaches that are not exactly what everybody else is thinking. I know, I listened to you with Andy Lack, and you guys brought a lot of good information to the table, and I think that the way that you're kind of looking at it is not exactly the same way I'm looking at it. So I'm excited to talk about some of these guys.
Yeah, the thing about betting a bunch of long shots for me is that it's hard enough for me to hit an outright 30 to 1. It's even that much harder to hit one at some crazy odds. So this week I am betting some guys over 100 to 1 just because, again, I learned my lesson last week. You just have to kind of throw the money out there and hope it sticks.
Yeah.
And it's not that small of an investment, so you might as well just go for it. But again, this week, there's a million podcasts out there, but I'm really looking at wedge range. So birdie or better percentage from 150 in, greens in regulation, putting on POA. I think that's really important this week because Like we've talked about, these greens are different, and putting on POA isn't like these other surfaces, and you need to have some familiarity and experience with it to really excel if your ball striking's on. So definitely if a guy has experience on POA and is a West Coast guy and has proven that he can do that, I like that this week. And something I'm really not looking at is that I think you could definitely get away with not being great off the tee here or not gaining a bunch of strokes off the tee here because there's wide fairways. The rough isn't that penal. It's a short course. So I think a lot of these guys are going to end up in similar positions. And if a guy's shorter off the tee or that's where he's losing the most strokes, like, but he's good everywhere else, like I'm totally fine with playing someone like that. So that's really what I'm like looking at this week. That's what a lot of my guys they're kind of going with and the kind of the strengths they have. But you know, I'm excited to get into it.
No, I definitely looked at POA putting. I agree that that's super important. Like there's just dudes who don't like it and there's dudes who do. So I looked at that. I looked at obviously those wedge ranges. I did look at that a lot. And then course history, I think. I got into it last year with Wiley. I didn't get into it, but like we had a funny exchange on Twitter when he posted his list last year and he had Jason Day like number 2. And Jason Day wasn't playing nearly as good of golf as he is right now. And my thing was like, yeah, that's how many rounds he's going to play this week is 2. Saying he'd missed the cut. But like his whole thing was course history here is king. Like Jason Day kills this course. I don't care how bad he's playing. He's good at this course. And sure enough, Jason Day had a great week. So the course history is definitely an angle I went with in those wedge ranges. And then, like I said, I just got real galaxy brain with it. So
you could do whatever you want. Like I hit 1 outright. We were both on cam. Like I'm good for 2 months. Like after 2 months, like you can give me shit fine that I don't hit an outright. But I have 2 months after you hit an outright. So now you doubled it and you got a while since you hit 2 in like 4 weeks. Yeah. So that's how how the rules and how the things go. So let's get into 100%. It. Patrick Cantley, you get 7.5 to 1, 8 to 1 on him. I will say this about Cantley. I am playing him in DraftKings. I'm starting a lot of lineups with him because genuinely, like sometimes with these week, we try to overcomplicate things, but Cantley is head and shoulders above everyone in this field. He plays well at every single course he goes to. So I'd play him at some random tournament. I don't know anything about the course because his game has that little flaws. But now you're going to a place where he held the 36-hole lead last year. He's from California. He always plays well here. So it's like, oh, now Cantley, like who I think is just one of the most talented golfers in the world, is going to a course he's familiar with. He's going to be hard to beat. I really like him in DraftKings. I like maybe parlaying him with DJ in Saudi or parlaying him with something because I genuinely think there's a good chance he just runs away with it. And I don't say that every week about the favorite because I think that's a very cheap take. But I do think this week that is actually pretty valid.
Yeah, you got to be afraid of Cantley this week. Like you said, he's a California kid, so the greens aren't going to mess with him or anything. He's played well here. He put out a thing the other day that Cypress Point is his favorite course. So it's like, I imagine that he's in the Monterey Peninsula area playing golf on his, his pleasure golf rounds are in this area. So like, yeah, it makes sense. Unless you're parlaying him with like a DJ, which is actually not a bad call. I don't think you can really bet him unless he's your only bet. But yeah, in DraftKings, like I think you'd be crazy not to have a good chunk of some Cantley on your team.
Yeah, I think there's no way he doesn't play well this week. So I'm excited to see how that goes. So Burger,
he beats us in the betting. Yeah, that's just the way it goes.
That's fine. I'll be able to sleep about that. So Burger, everyone's a little concerned because he looked a little bit off at the Farmers. He was in a lot of the featured groups and there were rumblings that he was injured in some respect, but no one really has any information. I just think that mixed with most people don't go back to back at the same course, and he's probably 12 to 1 best number you could get on him. Like, I really want no part of him. I'm not playing him DraftKings and not betting him. I don't think he repeats here. There's injury concerns, but obviously he's one of the top 3 approach players on the PGA Tour. There's small greens this week. Like, if there's anywhere, it always comes down to his putting. His ball striking is always going to be great, but I don't see it this week, and I really have no problem missing him.
Yeah, I mean, they said it was like a back injury, right? I mean, that seems like significant. I don't really like to bet guys who have back injuries, so yeah. And I'm not you've seen my card. Everyone's seen my card. I'm not going down that low. And yeah, he's another one that's like, if he beats us, he beats us. It wouldn't surprise me. He's a really good player. So that's what it is.
Yeah. No, I really am not too worried about him. So J Day and Spieth, like Spieth, I'm under the impression like if you're playing him, you're just like zagging to zag, like you're just like doing something that makes no sense, like hoping that it does. Like I just don't think you can really take that risk with so many other great players like in the field. Like I just think there's so many people that are playing more consistently and better. And I think that something that people might want to remember is that it wasn't like he was playing horribly and then he played Pebble and played really well. Since last year it was flipped, he had really had a spark and turnaround at the Waste Management, which was a week before last year, and he shot a 60 on Saturday. Seriously, one of the most fun rounds I've ever watched. Right. That was just spectacular. So last year, you can make the argument he didn't come in with good form, but I think that it's truly has not done anything since the Open. I think it's a waste. Maybe in DraftKings if you really just want to be contrarian, but I really want no part of him this week.
Yeah, I don't really understand obviously the course history is what it is, and we said that that's an important thing here, but like since the Northern Trust, he's lost strokes to the field in every event but one. Like he's not playing good golf. He had the kid. That was probably where his mind was for quite a while. I don't know. I mean, I imagine he's going to start ramping up over the next 2.5 months to get ready for the Masters, or the next 2 months. But like, I don't know. I'm not betting him single digits here. That's just crazy.
Yeah, and my thing is that like I wanted to see him get into form before I start wagering on him. Like I said, there's just a lot of guys around that I would rather take a risk on that have been playing better that are not named Jordan Spieth. So I'm not going to
in every single category last week. Like,
yeah.
What are we doing?
So I won't be there, and I'm fine with that. So the first guy I bet, I'm looking at FanDuel right now. I bet him at I got a 30-1 on him. I'm betting Seamus Power this week outright. I think 30-1 is a really good number on him. Like I said on Andy's pod, he's a strokes gain savant. If you look at this field and you go by total strokes gain, he is second. You go to most fields and he is in the top 5 because he is just so consistently good every week. And that's shown with his finishes because he always seems to finish in the top 20, no matter the event. He's had a wonderful fall swing. He played well. So 4th at RSM, 15th at Century, 3rd at Sony, 14th at Amex. Like, I don't see any reason why he couldn't keep this going. When he won at the Barbasol, it was a shorter course. And I just think a lot of the fields he's been playing in have been really great. And, he hasn't been great on Sunday, but I just think since I'm not ready to hop off him because he's coming to a weaker field in an event that's more likely for him to win than TOC or RSM. So I'm not hopping off Seamus. He's my first shout out. I got a 30-1 on him.
Yeah, you almost talked me into Seamus on the Andy Lack podcast because he makes some good points, and I've been betting him a lot, and so it would suck to miss out on the Seamus train because I've just been betting him basically every week. And that Amex Sunday, he goes OB off the very first tee, and it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna go spend time with my family because he's toast, and so, and yeah, no, he's been killing it. My problem, like the problem that I ran into in this whole range was how do we differentiate any of these guys, right? Like if you run your models and you look at the metrics that we've talked about, you look at the recent form, you look at course form, you look at all this stuff, like all these guys are going to rate out pretty well. And so I just couldn't make a decision. Like, do I take Cameron Tringali, who's never won? Do I take Seamus Power, who won, the super weak field, opposite field event? Do we take Maverick McNeely, who's never won? Do we take Justin Rose, who's having this resurgence, but has not been good for a long time? Like it just, Jason Day, kind of same thing, the chalkiest of the chalk plays. And so I had these 6 guys at the same price. Like, how do I make a decision? They're all the same to me at this. And I don't think that they should be where they are. I think they should all be 40-1. So I don't think we're getting a fair price on any of these guys. So I just said, fuck it with the whole range.
But the field is so not great that there's nowhere else for them to put those odds. And I just think sometimes you kind of have to you have to just suck it up and say this is a shitty number, but I'm just gonna bet it. So Again, this is the most obvious play. He's the most tipped golfer this week. I could have told you that 3 weeks ago. If you asked me 3 weeks ago, who do you like at Pebble, I probably would have said Maverick McNeely. Like, I think
100%.
he probably
him and Jason Day both, and I was hoping that they would like suck last week or not finish in the top 10. I was hoping they'd finish like 30th. So we were like, yeah, they played okay. Pebble's a better course for them, but of course they both like contend and then just ruin their odds. So, and yeah, exactly. The most tipped guys, I just can't do it. I can't do it with any of these guys. I also have like a theory about this whole range, and I think Pat Mayo might have mentioned this a little bit, but this is, with a 3-course rotation, and I don't know that tee times have been released yet, but more likely than not, all of the good guys are going to play Pebble on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because the broadcast on Saturday is going to be one of the bigger broadcasts, right? So they're only have cameras on Pebble, so they're going to want the guys who like people actually know playing the weekend round at Pebble. And the wind forecasts right now are pretty calm for the week. It's like the most you're going to see is like 6 mile an hour on Thursday, Friday. Saturday is the only day that looks like it's starting to maybe get a little bit windy, like a little bit, a couple miles an hour. I'm not talking a huge difference, but it seems that Pebble will be the most difficult on Saturday, and all the good guys are going to be playing Pebble on Saturday. So that was kind of one of the decisions for me to like skip the whole top range together and just be like, I'm fading the whole range.
When you said you galaxy brained it, that's a pretty good galaxy brain. Like, I'll give it to you there. Like, that was pretty good.
I'm deep, baby. I'm deep this week.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would have to disagree with you. I just don't think Pebble's that hard, and I don't think the wind will be up.
None of them are
that
for
much.
These guys.
Like, that's why I don't think it will be that much of a that much of an issue, really. But I think these guys are going to light it up this week.
Even if it's a stroke, that's what it comes down to in these events, man. Like, Luke List won in a playoff over a bunch of guys who were right there, could have finished 14. One stroke makes a difference, man, especially if you're betting a bunch of jabronis who need all the help they can get, which is what I'm doing. Central.
Jabroni Central. I love it. I can't wait to get there. But yeah, this is a situation with Mav. It's like, it's so obvious. I would hate myself if he went on and won. Like, I would rather just bet him.
But would you? Because like,
I would.
80-1 2 weeks ago at the Amex.
It's a totally different field, and he wasn't 80-1 though. Like, this is
maybe 60-1. Like he was 50-1 last week, wasn't he?
But this is the course that he's shown he can contend on best. He has, last time he's played it, the past 2 times he played it, he came in the top 10, and he's been playing good golf, and he's made 7 straight cuts. Like, if I wouldn't bet a 21 on him now, but I would bet a 28.
First event, if he wins his first event at 25-1, like, good job, Mav McNeely. That's how I'm going to look at it. I'm not going to be mad. Like.
Yeah, no,
out there,
This is a situation for me where it's like, it's too obvious. Like, I just can't not be on it if it cashes. And like we've seen, like with List and with Cam and with Russell Henley, even though he didn't win, like sometimes the obvious plays do well. So I'm sticking with. I can't believe the odds have moved that much. He opened at like 28. He's down to 20. So these are like, they're not gonna, like, you had to make your bet. Like most week, you kind of had to make your bets very early.
For sure.
This week. So the first guy on your card is Tom Hoagy. He's also on my card. So this is our shared golfer. So 100% he's gonna win. What made you bet him? What do you like about him? I know he's been playing well, but you think Hoagy has a chance to get it done this week at 7-1?
Yeah, I mean, Hoagie's a guy that I bet somewhat often, usually in the triple digits, and I like him at Birdie Fest because that's what he's good at, man. He's good at firing at flag sticks and just like when conditions are easy, just kind of going low. And, so he's really good in the short courses. We saw him at the Amex, 2 weeks ago, had a chance to win it. I ran kind of a little mini model based on just those proximity ranges on Fantasy National, and he comes out like number 1, which is pretty good. So he's just nasty with his wedges. So I think that he's in good form. I don't really care about the miscut last week. That's not really his like jam, that kind of a course, I don't think. So I'm happy to go on 70-1 with a guy who's going to just hit fairways, fire at flag sticks, He's got a pretty good short game. Like in the last 50 rounds, I think he's top 15 in this field. So I'm happy with that. His course history is it's decent. So 70-1, like you said, when you're getting into that range, it's not a huge investment, and we've seen kind of long shots do well. So yeah, I'm all over Hoagy.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that the thing about him that I really like is that, like you've talked about, he's really good in these proximity ranges with his wedges, and he's really good on Birdie Fest. And like some other guys, I bet I'm glad he's actually played this event before, even though the course history might not be amazing. He's been playing some decent golf, second at the Amex, fourth at the RSM. And I think the RSM's a decent comp. It's coastal, It's shorter, it's very low scoring.
Court,
so
yeah.
I think it's a fine play. I'm on it with you. So, I mean, I hope we both cash. The other guy I bet outright, and I think there's a lot of things that point to him playing well this week. But the thing that worries me is that he's not excellent on POA. And that is Christian Bezenhout, whatever, Seabez. I really like him this week. He is first over the last 50 rounds in this field in proximity from 125 to 150 yards. He has a really good short game. He's one of the best putters. And like we've talked about, his biggest weakness is off the tee. He's not going to go out and contend on a Bomber's Paradise on a super long course. I think his game is more suited towards a shorter course, and we're finding that this week. And, he's made 17th at the Sony, again, a shorter, more heavy emphasis on approach play, positional golf course. And then he made 2 straight cuts at the Amex and the Farmers. Nothing amazing results, but, not every single golfer that wins outright has some crazy finish right before. So I really like Seabez. Only concern is that, the POA putting isn't, unbelievable, but I'm glad he's got a bunch of reps in, and I think it's a good bet. I got a 55-1 on him, so I'll be rolling with that.
Yeah, I mean, he was on my short list. Like his short game is incredible. He's awesome, and yeah, he's a trash off the tee player. Like so, in a on a course where you have to be good off the tee, like last week, that is not his kind of thing. He actually gained strokes last week, but still, a course like that where to win, you're going to want to be hitting bombs off the tee. That's not his jam. Short little course like this, yeah, man, I like Seabez a lot. I don't have any problems with that play. Just got to get hot with the putter, and he hasn't had one of those real spike weeks in a while.
Yeah, so maybe he's due. Maybe he's due.
He might be.
Maybe he'll gain a bunch of strokes. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play. I think it's good, and I think it'll be a good play, and I'm glad Andy's on it, and I'm glad some other people are on it, and we'll see. So Minwoo Lee, he's on your card. You got a 75-1 on him. So this is a situation where he's probably the guy lowest on the odds board that probably the average person doesn't know about. So do you think there is some value in his number, given that, the average golf fan would just skip right over his name because they know nothing about him?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of what's going on here. I kind of blew up my secret on him on Twitter, and you got mad at me for that. I'm sorry. No, yeah, 100%, man. Like most people who follow PGA Tour golf week to week, like maybe have never heard of Minwoo Lee, and that's crazy because he's really good. He's like on the doorstep of getting a Masters invite. I'm not sure if he got it. I think he might have been in the top 50 in the world at the end of the year, so he might have got his Masters invite. He won the Scottish Open, like a pretty big time event on a links course. He's just a really good player. Like on the European Tour week to week, he is just popping, and like in some pretty decent European Tour fields at the end of 2021, he was going off 20-25-1, and that's the kind of guy who like could come over and win one of these events, like we saw Lucas Herbert do. I mean, this is a pretty weak field. He's the 10th ranked official world golf ranking player in this field. So if you look at some of the guys who are ranked around him or even ranked below him, I mean, like Maverick McNeely's in the 70s in the world ranking, and he's 25-1. Minwoo Lee's like 50th in the world, and he's 3 times that price. So that was one of my factors with Minwoo. I've never played Pebble, which is a shame because it's like a couple hours away. I'm gonna put together like one of those package trips pretty soon, but they advertise it as American Links, right? It's golf links, and links golf is different, man. It's a different beast, and there's a different way that you play around the green. There's a different way that your tee shots roll in the fairway. It's just a little bit different, and he's shown that he's really good at links golf. So, whether that translates over or not, who knows? He missed the cut here last year, which is obviously not great. We want good course form, but at least he has played it before. He's not seeing it for the very first time. And then Mike Miller, who is just the god of golf betting, he put out some sheets this week, and he put out a sheet for the Pebble Beach, and he's got Minwoo Lee. His odds on what he thinks Minwoo Lee should be is 40-1, and there's 70s, 75s out there. So that's one of the things I like to do when Mike puts his sheets out is just take the biggest discrepancy in the odds, and so that was kind of the factor that pushed me on to Minwoo, and 75. I'm happy to take that. So, it was just kind of an easy decision once I saw that number.
No, I really like that. I think one of the best points that you made is that he has win equity on the European Tour, and that literally showed how important it is with Lucas Herbert winning. It's like a lot of these guys he's priced around literally haven't won an event in so long. And although the European Tour isn't as strong, it was a big field. It was that event he won was not just some random Euro Tour event. It was definitely a event. Who did he beat out? Do you remember? I feel like a lot of people
Thomas Peters was in the playoff with him.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people had tickets on the other guy that he was with, and then he just beat him out. So, I just think that.
And, I mean, there were some big guys in that field. Let's see who was in that field. So, like I said, he beat Thomas Dietrich is who he beat in the playoff.
Yep.
And he beat Matt Fitzpatrick in that playoff. Yep. Lucas Herbert got 4th. Ian Poulter was 4th. Palmer, Rahm was 7th. Justin Thomas got 8th. Xander got 10th. Scotty Scheffler was 12th.
So that was the event. I knew that it was some event I was half following because a lot of great guys were in it. So I think
big time event.
Yeah, no. So he obviously can. I mean, that's almost like a better field than it is this week. So
and when you run your models in Fantasy National, he doesn't have really many rounds, so it's he's not going to pop, and it just kind of he gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, so the next guy on my card, I bet Satish Sagala. I got a 130-1 on him, which again, it's on DraftKings. It was a big discrepancy, and I was just look, this guy's really good. And what we talk about this week is that I like some guys that have some familiarity with these Pellegrins. He went to Pepperdine. He's a California kid. He was one of the best college golfers 2 years ago. This guy is really talented. He's off 3 straight made cuts. He got a 25th at the Farmers. He gained 3.8 on his approach. So I like where his game's at, and now he's coming to a course where he has some familiarity with, and he can show that and what's really held him back these past 3 starts is his putting, and now he's going onto a surface that he's a lot more ready to deal with, and I think that this course suits his game a little bit better, and I just think a 130-1, like we talked about, it's a crazy number. It's a small investment, and we've seen some longer shots win here, and I think it definitely could be Satish this week.
I like Satish. He was on my short list as well. I didn't get the number. I didn't get the number that I wanted on that, so I didn't go with him. But he was on my short list. Like you said, he's played at Pepperdine. He's a California. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, he's a freaking stud, dude. So I'll talk about this a little bit more when we get there. But there's kind of a low key course comp that. When we get to some of my guys, I'll talk about this. But there's kind of a low-key course comp, I think, that Sahith fits, and that's the Sanderson Farms. So I don't mind the Sahith play. Yeah, I'm into it.
So you're going with a major champion. He won a major at the Bethpage Black in my backyard. He won the John Deere this year. He's 40. He doesn't wear a glove. He likes to play in the rain. You were going with glove. Lucas Glover this week. What made you place a bet on him at 80-1? What do you like about Lucas Glover this week?
So, I mean, Lucas Glover is just hitting the piss out of the golf ball right now. His approach play is out of control. At the Sony 9.5 strokes approach, he's gaining almost every week on approach, gaining almost every week off the tee. His putting has been mostly decent. He's just playing good golf. I also don't play with the gloves, so I like that. John Deere, I think, is a halfway decent course comp. he, Jordan Spieth and Daniel Berger both won AT&T. They were in a playoff against each other at the John Deere. So, like, I think that there's maybe some things there. He just won there. He's got some decent, a 7th and 11th, a 25th at 8. No, that's at AT&T National. But he's got a 7th and 11th at the Pro-Am, and he's just hitting the ball so good right now. And like you said, I mean, he can win. A lot of these guys who are half his price have never won before. So I'm willing to take a shot on Glover. I really liked what he did 2 weeks ago at the Amex and at the Sony, the shorter courses. So another big price, and let's go. The glove.
I mean, he can, like, that's the thing. Like, he can win. He has proven that he can win, and his ball striking is really great right now. And I think a lot of times what happens, I mean, even with Luke List last week, is that their ball striking is just out of control, and then it all comes into fruition one week when they get a little hot with the flat stick and make some 15-footers for birdie. Like, that's literally all it takes, and it can happen so quick. So I really like the strategy of just riding guys that are just having some really good numbers, and their strokes gain and their tee degree game is just really great. So I think it's a great play. Next guy you're betting, some would say he's like one of the worst players on tour, and it's just like the it's like, oh, people are like, oh, Spieth, like Brooks, they're like boom or bust. It's like, okay, no, the real boom or bust player on the PGA Tour, without a doubt, is Cameron Champ. Is there any denying he is the ultimate boom or bust player on tour?
100%. And I've never been on one of his wins, but he's got 3 wins. He's got 3 of them. Dude, we're betting everyone's betting guys in the 20s and 30s and 40s who have never won before or have won once. Cameron Champ's been on tour for what, 2-3 years? He's won 3 times, man. Like, he's I don't know that he's a better golfer, but he is a winner more so than a lot of these guys that everybody's betting. And so I've got a few things on Cam Champ. One of the things, and this was what I was alluding to at the beginning of the show when I said I kind of went a different route with some things. One of the things that I really did on my research was I filtered everything by less than 7,200 yards golf courses. I wanted to see how guys play on short golf courses, right? So Cameron Champ, and this is over the last 50 rounds. I could have done different ranges, but whatever. Ball striking on short golf courses, he's behind Berger, Cantley, and Kyle Stanley. 3 guys. And I'm not betting Kyle Stanley if you fucking put a gun in my head. So he's behind basically the 2 best guys in this field in ball striking on short courses. He's number 1 off the tee on short golf courses. He's number 1 off the tee on long golf courses too, because he's just a sick driver of the golf ball. But our boy PGA Tout kind of brought this up a couple months ago about short golf courses and looking at bombers and how they perform on short golf courses, because everybody's clubbing down, right? So Cameron Champ with a 3-wood is still longer than everybody else with a 3-wood. Even though he's hitting 3-wood, he's hitting it he's hitting it farther than everybody else. Cameron Champ with a hybrid is going to hit it longer than a lot of guys hit with their woods. So I think that he's just so prolific off the tee that it's going to put him in a position where he's hitting the shortest wedges of anybody. And if he just, is reasonable with his wedges and makes a couple putts, he knows how to win golf tournaments. And he's from Sacramento, California. So he knows Northern California golf. He went to like Texas A&M, but he's from Northern California. He has a win in Northern California at the Safeway, now Fortinet. So same greens, the POA greens. I mean, it's all there. And like I said about Sahith, one of the comp courses that I found where a lot of guys play well at the Sanderson and also play well at AT&T. Nick Taylor has a win at the Sanderson, has a win at AT&T. Where's Cameron Champ's other win, or one of his other wins? It's the Sanderson. It's all there. It's all there, baby.
So in the past, someone has came on my podcast and they have touted Cameron Champ over 100-1, and I was like just sitting there like with a smirk, like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And I didn't bet it, and he went out and fucking won that week. So because of that, I will be placing a small wager on Cam Champ outright.
Champ.
I mean, No, but I think it's a really fair point. I think that when you get guys that are really long off the tee, that they have also a very large advantage on short courts. I mean, we've seen it with Bryson at some of his different courses that he's contended at. They were shorter courses, and he's so long that, like you talked about, he's clubbing down, and he could hit his 3-wood 280 pin straight and be in the middle of the green and have some wedge in. So again, I'm betting it, and we are very much aware that he could literally shoot a 78 in the opening round, more than any other golfer we bet.
And that's the problem, is the first round, because if you look at the last 2 weeks, if you look at like what he's done recently, it looks like he's playing terrible golf. But in round 1 at the Amex, he shot a 73, but then he shot 3 under, 2 under, missed the cut on the number. And then last week he shot like I don't even know, like a 4 over. I mean, he was like 4 or 5 over in the first round. He ended up shooting a 75 in the first round. Comes back with a 65 and a 72. And so he gets himself, inside the cut and then shoots 1 over on the last day. A lot of guys shot over par on the last day, but like his last 2 results are very misleading for the golf that he's playing. So
I'm down.
Champ is my favorite play of the week.
Like
unquestioned.
Well, you sold me on your favorite play of the week, so it must be right. I'll never not bet Cam Champ if someone comes on my podcast and tells me to bet him. The money's already gone. It doesn't it's fine if it loses. I don't care. But I think you made a compelling case, and I like that. He's won in Northern California before, and he's won in this part of the country, and I think that's really going to be important this week. So I'm down to ride Camp Champ with you, and I'm looking forward to it. So the next bomb I bet, I got a 160 to 1 on him, and he's one of my favorite players on tour. He's one of my best friends, is Satoshi Kodaira. Okay? All right?
Explain this to me.
Okay, I'll explain it. I will explain it. He is super good with his wedges. His only win is at RBC, another short positional golf course. So he is 4th in this field in proximity from 125 to 150 and 30th in birdies or better gained. And he had a 12th place finish at the Sony just 2 weeks ago. So again, we're talking about a guy that's a proven winner on tour on a shorter, very similar course. He's playing well, and he's good with his wedges, and his biggest problem is his off the tee game, and it's not as important here. Top 40 plus 160 all over that. First round leader, whatever course he's at, I'm all in on that. Kodaira's my boy. I touted him the week he was first round leader at the Travelers. I didn't bet him first round leader, but still, I mean, I saw something. So I'm kind of a Toshi whisperer. He's my bomb this week. I like him.
You're a Tosh head?
Yes, absolutely. Favorite guy.
Dude, have fun, man. I'm going to be rooting for you. I hope Satoshi fucking kicks ass this week.
Are you, where's your confidence level in Kodaira, this week?
What's less than 0?
Why are you hating on Satoshi?
I don't know, man. I just there was nothing that I looked at that was yep, let me get on some Satoshi Kodaira.
This is kind of a situation where I want to bet him. So I'm very easily convinced, but I do think there are some stats that I pointed out.
I mean, I'm looking at his short course form, and I don't know when these rounds are coming from. It could be
he won RBC.
Yeah, but there's a lot of red, man. A lot of 130s in the field kind of stuff.
All right, so who's so I already put it up with Andy matchup against another guy, I bet. I take a guy around his odds and we can bet straight up on it.
Give me my next guy, Peter Malnati. The naughty boy.
Fine. All right, side wager on it. All my chips are in Kodaira. So now I know it's toast. He's missing the cut. Because whenever I get like this, whenever I really like a guy, it's it's probably not going to work out. So you're betting the bucket hat legend. He played decent last week. Pete Malnati, give me the case.
Yeah, the case is pretty simple. It's this is a pro-am. They set it up pretty simple, just kind of like they did at the Amex. And like John Rahm, fucking bullshit setup. It's putting contest. I don't know that it's going to be a bullshit setup, but I think there is the potential that it becomes a bit of a putting contest, right? It just if it's not windy, even with small greens, everybody's going to be hitting the green, right? If there's no wind, it's a short course. Greens in regulation are going to be pretty easy, and then it becomes a putting contest. And Peter Malnati in putting contests, hashtag always Peter Malnati in putting contests. I'm the captain of that crew, and so I cannot stress it enough. Play him in putting contests. It's as simple as that. I got him at like 200 to 1. So, I mean, what are we doing? Like, it's Peter Malnati, baby. He's hitting the ball well. Just make some putts. Make more putts than everybody else. That's what he can do. It's a pretty simple case.
All right. Well, I hope he plays horrible this week. So we just want to do a little score update. Luke's max play whale bomb was Prov +4. They are currently up 3 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. So a decent start.
Yeah, I mean, they've been up the whole game. I've kind of been glancing up every so often.
You bet all of the Luke List money on it, right?
Oh yeah.
Like every
absolutely.
cent you made off Luke List, all on the Friars.
Yeah, all on the Friars, dude. The Friars are good, man.
No,
I don't understand this line, and I can't believe that we got so much traction off that.
That was so that was hilarious. Like this morning because obviously I'm a golf bettor, like through and through. Like that's what I bet. I don't really mess around with a lot of sports. Like I have maybe bet like one college basketball game all year, but I love rat lines. Like I love square lines. So like you saying like it's a lock, and then I was like, okay, I'm placing it regardless.
Square, man. I bet a lot of Big East basketball. Like I bet a lot of Big East and Mountain West. Those are my conferences. And I mean, Providence is, in my opinion, a top 10 team in the country. They've lost 2 games this year to Marquette when they had just lost like one of their best players, and Marquette is also probably a top 15 team. And then they lost like a neutral court to Virginia. Who gives a shit? Providence should not have been an underdog in this game. I'm just the game's not over. They could still very much
this game's not over, and I don't care if it win or loses. It doesn't matter to me.
I was just surprised by the line.
Yeah, it was just funny how obvious the line was, and then I thought you like gave me some like sneaky play, and everyone was just like, no, that was actually just like. But sometimes, but I hate that. If a line makes no sense, okay, this is my take about gambling. If a line makes no sense and you galaxy brain your way into taking it the other way because you think Vegas set the line wrong, so you would bet the other way, and it loses, that is the worst feeling in the world. Absolute
you can just
worst
go in
feeling
like
in the world.
A hamster wheel of that kind of thinking. Like I figured that Providence would be a 5-point favorite in this game. I saw the line on my app and I was like, oh, they messed it up. They got it backwards. And sure enough, I was like, oh shit, they're getting points. Like, give me that.
No, I love it. I'm glad we got some Big East basketball talk in. So my next bomb, I got a 250 to 1 on him. Again, I like him top 40. Like I'm betting him outright just to have a little fun, but I think he's definitely better in the placement market. Is Austin Eckroat. Again, like Luke List last week, if you're making the right model, he's popping in it, and someone of his caliber, if he's popping in it, it's like, okay, something fits his game. He just got engaged. He shot a 63 on Pebble. He posted it on Instagram. He's 4th in this field in proximity from 125 to 150. He's second. Never mind. But he's 12th in my model at 300 to 1. I like a 40 to 1. I like a 250 to 1 on him. I like him top 40. I think he's a good play this week. I'm playing him in DraftKings. I'm playing Kadira and Eckroat in DraftKings. Luke, who do you know? Luke Spencer, he's talking up the game in the comments.
St. John's is 9-0 and playing at Carnesecca Hall. I mean, yeah, no, they're good. Look, hey, I'm the biggest St. John's fan that is not a St. John's alumni that exists.
Yeah, wait, because
I would give my kidney for Posh Alexander. He's my favorite player in the country. Julian Champagne is sick. Providence is not overrated.
Wait, why do you
they're just not.
What is your affinity with St. John's? Because my mom Like
Posh
I'm from the
Alexander.
East Coast. Like my mom loves, like
I
my
like
family
this
loves St.
St.
John's.
John's team.
Okay.
I like this particular team. I think Posh Alexander is maybe the best, like, point guard. I would think I would take him over any point guard in the country. He's just a dog. And Julian Champagne's probably a top 5 scorer in the country. They've got a bunch of really nice role players like Dylan Daiwusu is. I mean, they're just awesome, and they're probably not going to make the tournament, which is a fucking damn shame. But they've just lost too many big games. They've lost all their good games, like all their tough games. That's just the way that the season's gone. Providence is not overrated though. They are full of seniors, full of studs. They're winning every game. Like people, you can say they're getting lucky, but like at a certain point, you're just experienced and you're just better and you know how to close games. That's what they did against Marquette on Sunday. One of the best basketball games I've watched all season. So, Luke Spencer, you're a Luke. I love you.
You love, like all love
Providence
here,
is not
like
overrated.
all love here, like
100%. They're not overrated.
They're not overrated.
Underrated,
Get one thing straight when you're on TIB. All right, we got through our card. Paul Barjon, he was good at the Amex. He was like in the final group, 250 to 1. You're just saying, fuck it, let's throw some coins on a guy that contended not that long ago.
Yeah, he's limited sample size, kind of like Eckroat. That's my thing with both of these guys is like limited sample size, but Barjon's been good on these shorter courses. He had a really good showing at the Amex. He's just a good player. Like on the Korn Ferry Tour, I think he had to do the long – I'm not sure if he had to do the long season on the Korn Ferry Tour. But either way, he's been really good. It's a 250 to 1. Let's throw some coins at Paul Barjon, the Frenchman.
You're doing whatever you want this week. It doesn't matter. You could, all your guys can miss the cut and you're still a legend. So, you're playing with house money this week, as they say.
Absolutely. So what did you want to talk about with Paige?
No one's listening right now. They'll probably listen. We're at the end of the golf show. If you want to just hear some rambles, like stay tuned.
This is going to be the best stuff. This is the stuff.
Yeah, no, it kind of is. I might clip it and send it to her. No, so Paige Sporanic, everyone knows her. Like she's drop 10, gorgeous. She's like one of the most famous people on Instagram in the golf community. She works for PointsBet. And, she's gone out of her way to interact with me on Twitter multiple times. Like multiple times I commented on my stuff, like always saying great minds think alike because she knows I'm big time in the golf industry. She wants to talk about PointsBet.
Of course you are.
So I'm like, Paige, come on my podcast. Like you could just talk about, like, come on TIB. Like you could just talk about PointsBet. Like we'll just like mess around, like we'll just joke around for a little bit. Like you could promote whatever you want. Like you don't have, give me like 2 picks and like we're on the way. She's like, oh, of course. Like I would love to. Like it's a joke. Like, oh, since you're my boyfriend, like, oh, come on. So she's like, yeah, no, I will. And then I'm like, okay, well, like you can come on whenever you want. Like it's not gonna be like I was like, come on whenever you want. It doesn't matter. Like whenever you're free. Just no answer. So I was like, fine. Like whatever. She said yes.
Ghosted.
Then she's ghosted me. And then fucking Sunday night, like I took Bengals live money line and she replies after it's getting a bunch of love and just like, oh, great minds. Like, no, don't use me for content, Paige, and not come on my podcast. It's rude. I'm done being played with and toyed with.
Huh. I miss all of this. I don't know how I missed all of this.
Yeah, well, yeah, no. I mean, you're working too hard at your job. Like you've missed.
Dude, they work me to the bone, man. It's BS. But hey, look, man. I think that you and Paige should like hang out. That's what I think. I don't know, man. It seems like a match made in heaven.
She's into me. Like she's into
she clearly
me.
Is into you.
And she's playing games. She's playing hard to get. Like don't like it's one thing, just don't answer, but like don't use me for content.
Do you think that living in your mom's basement has anything to do with it?
Probably. I don't live in the basement though. I have my own room, but that might have. But I just wanted to come on TIB. Like it would be fun. Like it would be chill. And
we should all meet in Vegas. You, me, Paige, and maybe like somebody else.
Luke.
We should meet in Vegas.
Since I've been to Vegas, I dream it. Like I'm dreaming about it every night. Not like I'm like every single night of my dreams. Like I'm in Vegas, and I'm like,
are you clubbing or yet?
I'm like at the casino, and then it's like I'm rushing to get on my suitcase. I'm like rushing to the airport, and like I'm always in Vegas. So I keep dreaming about Vegas. I think I need to move there and just be an Uber driver.
Is that your game?
I really did well in blackjack. I went up like $200, and then I threw it all on the Titans over, and it lost. But
Blackjack's the way to go.
I was
I
wheeling
love
and
me some
dealing.
blackjack.
$15 tables, win a few hands, add a little bit. I missed blackjack.
We'll make it happen, dude. Let me know the next time it's. I mean, I know you had it well in advance. COVID's messing everything up. Having a 1-year-old makes it difficult. I'm going to go for a UFC fight by the end of 2022.
You got to delete that tweet.
I'm not going to.
You have to. I had you on my podcast.
I don't delete tweets, dude.
Dude, now it's really over. But... Now it's like when you tweet like something's over, and then it turns around. No. I always do that. I always tweet out.
Let's see if she
golf
says.
takes.
Let's see if she says something.
She's not gonna answer. No, I'm done with her. She's using me for content, and I'm just done with it. Like I'm not. She has 15 mil on Insta, but like
she's got 500,000 followers on Twitter. Let her use you.
She needs me. Like she needs me for content. Yes. It's fine. All right, so Super Bowl picks, and we're out of here. Side and total for the Super Bowl. What are you thinking?
I was confused on the line again, man. I haven't been playing the Bengals all the way. I've been betting against them, and they just keep fucking burning holes in my pocket. So, like, why are they such a big dog again? I don't really get it.
So we're on the Bengals.
Dude, Joe Burrow's the king of the world. Like, the guy's amazing.
Like, why would you be like, okay, he's covered every single game as an underdog, but like it's gonna change now?
To the Rams, who are like not that good.
Their win against the Chiefs was so much more impressive than the Rams win. They should have lost that game.
Football team. Yeah.
So Bengals money line, Bengals +4, and I love the under because I love the under in the Super Bowl every year. So I also love teaser.
I'm kind of the same way. Standalone, like primetime games, I like to bet under just because everybody in the world's on the over, and it kind of I think overinflates the line artificially.
And especially in Super Bowl, like the vibes are a little off, and a lot. I don't know. The Super Bowl just tend to go under. So teaser, fucking Bengals plus 10 under like 56? No, 54.5.
If you do a six pointer, it'd be
I love that. Like I love that teaser. Nice last week on my pod with John, we did the football segment at the end, and I said can't lose teaser. Bengals +14 over 48.5. It fucking hit. It's like sometimes the most obvious thing, works out. So I'm betting heavy on the Super Bowl because we're both going to hit back-to-back winners these next 2 weeks.
I like it, dude. I'm into it.
There's no way
Providence
it won't happen.
Is just absolutely kicking ass. Like, this is not – what are we talking about, you guys? What are we talking
8 points. About? They're up 8, but, let's keep the mojo going. Let's
get
a nice
We're
lead.
up 13. We're up 11.
So Jers lost.
Yeah. Jers is in trouble.
He took the Johnny's first half.
Yeah, he's going to need a miracle.
All right, so we did it. Luke, it was a pleasure having you on. It was really a fun time. I'm really jealous you hit Luke list outright last week, but we're both going to hit Hoagy or Cam Champ this week. Cam Champ will not be on the official card, but it's a gentleman's bet between us, and then we were betting head-to-head Kadira over Pete Malnati.
Bang.
So everyone go follow Luke on Twitter. He's a great follow. He's super handsome. He puts out great cards every week that have some great graphic design going for them. So anything
legitimately, are we the two best looking guys on
Twitter? I mean, clearly, yes, but like you should, have like it shouldn't be Rodney Dangerfield. Like you would have more followers if you were like if people knew who you were.
Do you think that's true?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just love that picture, but
no, it's a good one. It's a good one. But
like
then, like you have to go through a whole rebranding, like mid-year. I mean, that's tough. That's tough to do. But I think you get your wife to take a little photo shoot, and like you're working.
It's true. All right, I'll take your word for it.
Luke, it was a pleasure. I appreciate everyone who checked this out. If you're still listening to this, you're an OG. You're a great person, and I love you. So have a great night.